Hello everyone, it's me again, Steedoj here, back with more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and this time we're going to break down how Sparking Zero compares to Tenkaichi 3, especially how similar its gameplay is to Tenkaichi, and even the use of certain sound effects from the Budokai games. But before I continue, one of the new things added to the game is being called the short dash. Now the reason why they added the short dash is because in regular Tenkaichi, most of the time you'd get around by just using dashes, because the character does move kind of slow without the dashes. So they've made the normal movement speed the speed of the dashes from the Tenkaichi series, and the new, I guess, high combat speed action we have now is the short dash. The short dash can, it works the same as the dash did in the Tenkaichi series. You can attack during a short dash, you can shoot ki blast during a short dash, you can shoot charge ki blast during a short dash. It's basically if you play the Tenkaichi series, look, do yourself a favor, if you've never played Tenkaichi 3, find a way to play it. It's basically how you're going to know how to play this game. So yeah, short dash is simply just the dash from Tenkaichi, except now faster because the regular movement speed of the game is higher. Now, some of this is going to kind of be rambling, but I do want to explain things as best as possible. He even says that this is a genuine sequel to, obviously, the Tenkaichi series, so no surprise that the gameplay is very similar, but I actually go in depth as to how similar the gameplay ends up being to the Tenkaichi series. In a bit, we'll cover the core gameplay part of Goku vs Vegeta later. For now, I just want to go over the things shown, such as how we have new offensive and defensive options in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero compared to the ones that we had in the Tenkaichi series. So one of the new but very minor things we have is Impact Action. This is basically just a new name for clashes now, whether it be melee clashes or energy beam clashes. They're called Impact Action now. We'll probably still end up calling them clashes, because clashes are just kind of way too iconic. But even games like Xenoverse 2 do actually have at least melee clashes. Beam clashes, however, I think have been gone from Dragon Ball games for the really, well, at least multiplayer-based Dragon Ball games for a long-ass time. I think Kakarot is the last time we had beam clashes, but they're really hard to trigger in that game because they only trigger with a few moves being Kamehameha, Final Flash, I think Mira's Energy Blast, Tri-Beam, and yeah, it just triggers with very few moves. So basically we haven't had Energy Blast or beam clashes for a very long time in Dragon Ball games, because in Kakarot you kind of have to force it to happen, and it's not very beneficial either. But who cares? We have impact actions now. It looks like we're not going to be shaking the analog stick around. We'll just have to be pressing a button at a specific moment in time. Kind of like in the Budokai games. Budokai 1, 2, and 3, it was a timed input rather than you spamming the joystick. And that might honestly be a bit easier to do. So yeah, I'm okay with these impact actions. Additionally, what used to be called blast stock is now being called a skill count. You use this skill count to do certain actions like the revenge counter, which is a new mechanic where while you're being attacked, you can just go, I will not let you destroy my world. You can also use it to deflect super attacks, kind of like in Raging Blast. Raging Blast was the only other Dragon Ball game, I believe, where you could deflect super attacks like this. This was not in any of the Tenkaichi games, so that is pretty damn cool. You can see that there's two good defensive options for the skill count, and also a new offensive option with the Assault Vanish. I do believe it's more so actually a reference to the move in Xenoverse 2, ironically enough. It seems you just need to only use ki to perform this vanishing assault and get in range to just, it basically lets you skip neutral. I don't want to deal with you close range, but I don't want you shooting with ki blast either. Time to go through all of that, buddy. Basically it's a nice neutral skipper. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. We are going to talk about the gameplay. Yeah, we're going to compare the gameplay to Tenkaichi 1, and we're also going to talk about all the things I've noticed in the gameplay, all things that newcomers might not be aware of. There's a lot of things, such as the ability to lock off of an enemy, what ultimate attacks do when they hit people, how to transform in the game since it doesn't use ki, etc, etc. So without further ado, let's talk about the Goku vs Vegeta gameplay showcase. First thing I want to mention, intros are in the game. Vegeta's does look a little flat, but to be fair, I'm not sure how many references there are of base Vegeta being ready to fight in, Dragon Ball Super, per se. Because these are the Dragon Ball Super variants of the character. Don't forget, there are Z variants and there are Super variants. And these are the Super variants. That's why Goku's intro is him hopping around. When it's the Z variants, his intro might change to his entrance against Frieza, where he flies in to, save Vegeta at the last second, etc, etc, right? So characters will have unique intros, the same way they did in the original Tenkaichi games. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Another cool bit to note is that the destruction in the stages is quite beautiful, and while we're witnessing this destruction, you can see the short dash being used a lot in the gameplay. You can also see the speed of the character's attacks, and I think that's just nice to point out. It gives you a good idea of how fast the game will be. I think so far, at least the punches in the game look to be much slower than they were in Tenkaichi 3. Now, the reason why I think this isn't a bad thing, because obviously, you know, faster gameplay is kind of like the meta now when it comes to video games of today compared to back then. But the reason why I don't mind the much slower looking gameplay, at least when it comes to the physical interactions with the enemy, right? Shooting key blasts and moving around, all of that is objectively faster in my opinion. But physical punches, I think, look a bit slower to me. And I think this is fine because it was actually kind of hard to react to a lot of things in Tenkaichi 3. This might just be the complaint of someone, though, who plays against the max difficulty AI in the game, and they basically are cheating 24/7. So maybe I have an invalid complaint here. But hey, you know what isn't invalid? I love that key charging is just natural, right? As someone who's been stuck with Xenoverse 2 for 7-8 years, probably by the time Sparking Zero comes out, key charging being a super attack in a Dragon Ball game for 7 years sounds a bit ridiculous to me. I'm very glad it's just an option you can use now again. Dragon Ball FighterZ did this too, so I'm very grateful for that as well. But it's so weird to me how key charge was just a super attack in Xenoverse. Another interesting thing to know about the attacks is that you can actually see that beam attacks do actually bend and curve in towards the direction of the enemies in this game. Beam attacks look to be slower, if not maybe about the same speed as they were in Tenkaichi 3. However, they do actually redirect and course correct to try and hit enemies. You can actually see this in one of the earlier gameplay trailers with Vegeta's Gallic Gun, but it's very clear as day with Goku's Kamehameha in this footage. Also, battle damage seems to be a lot easier to achieve too, because Goku used a regular super attack and broke Vegeta's armor and put him in this kind of character design. And you'll see Vegeta do the same thing with Goku very soon with a Gallic Gun, where it also damages, you know, the main part of Goku's gi and reduces him to just the blue shirt underneath. And I think that's pretty cool. Battle damage is usually kind of hard to get in certain Dragon Ball games. Tenkaichi was one of the harder ones because sometimes it will trigger on an ultimate attack hitting, and sometimes it will trigger on a beam clash, on losing a beam clash. But it was just kind of hard to do battle damage before. Now it's pretty damn easy, and I'm completely okay with that. This might mean that in high-level fights you pretty much only see the battle damaged version of the character's outfits, but hey, look, it's a high-level fight, alright? What else would you bloomin' expect, huh? Next, we actually see Vegeta at least charge up to his max power. And he actually enters the max power mode, and you'll see even just like in the Tenkaichi games, max power mode actually does take away his blast stock. Now, blast stock is the number underneath Goku and Vegeta's, like, I guess, health bars and their ki bars. It's the big number, not the small number. The small number, I have no idea what that is, but it seems to cap out at 3 for most of the video, and when Goku and Vegeta transform, it goes to 1. So maybe it means number of readily available transformations due to how much blast stock you have, because transformations still take blast stock in this game. I'm not sure what that small number is next to the up arrow, but I think it does mean maybe number of transformations left or number of transformations available. Another cool thing to point out is that when the ultimate attack actually does hit Goku, it turns his lock-on off, as you can see, for a moment. However, the lock-on does seem to quickly snap back on, because ultimate attacks in this game seem to make a giant mushroom cloud, or at least a cloud, when they hit the enemy, and the enemy legitimately cannot see through the cloud. You have to wait for it to clear or for the enemy to appear again. And if it's anything like the lock-off features in the older game, it means you'll have to actually take a little bit of time to stand still and search for the enemy, while they most likely charge up an attack or they head towards you. But in Sparking Zero, it seems like enemies can just shoot through the cloud, and the smoke actually does part out of the way as ki blasts come into the cloud, and that's very, very dynamic, to say the least. I think that's extremely cool. We did not have that in Tenkaichi 3. I can say that for sure. And finally, we see Goku go Super Saiyan Blue, which actually just take 1 blast stock, and you can even see that his end pose in Super Saiyan Blue is a reference to the one he does in Dragon Ball Super Broly, when Broly, I do believe this is when Broly goes Super Saiyan for the first time and his ki blasts scatter everywhere, and Goku hits that sweet-ass pose. It's either that or the one he uses when him and Vegeta are teaming up to fight Broly. I don't remember which one it is, but it's really goddamn cool. So after we see Super Saiyan Blue Goku do a little bit of a short combo, he actually ends it with a dash super attack, or I guess a rush super, I believe that they were called in the Tenkaichi 3 series. We have ki blast supers and we have melee supers. Melee supers usually had the disadvantage of not working on Graves, but I'm glad to see that they are at least back in this game, because when Goku ends his combo, he does a melee super. Now, we don't get to see him boost his super attack, I believe, because the prompt is still going on screen as if he's not boosting it, but then it does actually just say the words boost, which it only appears when you actually boost it. So yeah, I do believe this is a boosted super attack that we do see, because the damage is also pretty astronomical. In the old Tenkaichi games, this would have been like ultimate attack damage to do that much, but it could be that the Super Saiyan Blue damage buff is that high since, again, we've never actually seen Super Saiyan Blue in a Tenkaichi style game officially, and how much damage you would do by the time you get there. In the Budokai games, going into forms like Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 4 increase your damage by like over 40%, I believe. So, and then also you need to think about the fact that in the Tenkaichi games, we can also stack buffs on top of our characters. We can increase their defense, their attack, their ki charge speed, their super attack damage. We can make them use half the ki when they use super attacks. It's just insane. Oh, we also get to see the super attack deflect here. Again, that's also from Raging Blast. Budokai Tenkaichi didn't have an attack deflect, I'm very sure. I played all of them. They didn't have a super attack deflect. Now, you can deflect regular ki blasts, but not super attacks. And I do believe that is only from Raging Blast 2. I don't think it was even in Raging Blast 1. Maybe it was, but in Raging Blast, you could also deflect even ultimate attacks. And I think this extended to even team ultimates, the ones that usually one-shot. Stuff like Goku giving Krillin the Spirit Bomb, I do believe you could still deflect that, which is insane to me. Which reminds me, team moves are in the game, or at least maybe just Berta and Jaice have the same ultimate attack that they had in Tenkaichi 3, where the other one shows up to help. But I think so far team attacks are in the game, since they are using other things from the Raging Blast series. Team attacks most likely made it in. After a small combo from Super Saiyan Blue Goku, we enter the final phase of the fight, where they both do attacks on each other, and it creates an impact action, or let's just be honest, let's just call it a beam clash. The beam clash is between the Super Kamehameha, or maybe God Kamehameha, we don't know, but it's a very fancy looking Kamehameha from Goku. Meanwhile, Vegeta's move is actually a super attack. The final flash from Blue Vegeta is a super attack. We can tell because the cutscene is not anywhere near as dramatic, and he doesn't enter max power mode. You could only do ultimates in max power mode in the Tenkaichi series, which means Vegeta's ultimate probably isn't a ki blast, or maybe it's something like Father-Son Gallic Gun, and they didn't want to spoil, you know, future Trunks like here with like Super Saiyan Rage and all that stuff, right? Who knows what his ultimate could be, but he's not an Evolution Blue, so we know it's not Final Explosion. There has to be something else dramatic that he did in the anime. So I think it's either going to be Father-Son Gallic Gun, or maybe, just maybe, it's like a rush melee move that allows him to do like a combo. After the fight is over, we get a unique victory line from Goku where he speaks directly to Vegeta, which reminds me that it seems during the fight, characters will just speak to each other if they have unique interactions with each other. Or maybe characters in general just talk more in this game during the fights. For example, characters always usually say something when they get to low health, when they do certain attacks, when they receive certain attacks. It seems like Goku and Vegeta are kind of talking to each other a lot during that fight. So maybe only unique characters or unique interactions have dialogue like that. We see that in the Power vs. Speed trailer too, when Hit has a line saying, "It looks like you've really released like a monster right now." And that may be his intro quote against Broly, because, you know, why not? But it could also be a potential mid-dialogue line or a what-if story quote, assuming they have a what-if story involving these characters, right? I mean, Kale's from Universe 6. He is also from Universe 6. Kale is kind of like Broly. I could see scenarios like that happening. And that will be it for the showcase for the most part. I don't think there's anything else I can possibly tackle that I don't mention. Anything I don't mention, stuff like vanishing in the middle of combos to do extended combos, that was all in Tenkaichi. Again, look, if you want to know how to play Sparking Zero before the game comes out, find a way to play Tenkaichi 3. Whether it be legal or illegal, then find out how to play Budokai Tenkaichi 3, alright? The game's really, really good. You'll only make yourself happier from figuring out how you can play it and by actually playing it. Experience the things in that game, because they keep saying this one is a true sequel, and from the looks of it, it really just kind of is. So the best advice I could give you, other than to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because come on now, it keeps you up to date. Don't forget to hit the bell, okay? The best advice I can give you is obviously go get Tenkaichi 3 and go play it. And that'll be, honestly, I feel like they should have released a Tenkaichi collection before Sparking Zero came out. So that way, I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong, but you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and that'll be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed, then obviously again, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to really support the channel. And leave a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next, fellas. Love you all, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Take care and peace.